Count on LEX18 News.
Torrential rains lead to flooding in Powell County, where one man barely escaped his home as it was washed away. A woman accused of being behind the wheel of a stolen bucket truck, leading police on a 40-mile chase. Our state budget cuts actually costing us money. An LEX18 investigation has found millions are being spent on overtime.
LEX18 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Cox.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Thanks for spending part of your 4th of July holiday weekend with us, albeit another LEX18 Storm Tracker Weather Aware Day.
Tired of hearing that yet? Meteorologist Ian Oliver is tracking the torrential rain in the LEX18 Storm Tracker Weather Center.
It probably would have been easier just to declare this a weather aware week back on Monday, so we didn't have to go through this every single day. Today, the threat we're experiencing: locally heavy rainfall, flash flooding throughout the day. We got a few ongoing warnings here. One that includes Fayette County, Anderson, Jessamine, Woodford County, also Bourbon and Mercer counties. That runs until 7:30, and another Lincoln and Madison County that's going to run all the way until 9:30. The entire area still under a flash flood watch that runs until 8 p.m. later this evening as the heavy rain threat is ongoing here. The Max Track Live Doppler lit up here at 6 o'clock. Our northern tier seeing some stronger storms up across northern Harrison County, through parts of Robertson County, arcing over into Fleming County, Flemingsburg getting in on some very heavy rainfall, and more of that just on off to our south. Berea, southern Madison County, Garrard County, Rockcastle, through Lincoln, Casey counties, and further back to the west from there. More strong thunderstorms producing locally heavy rainfall, and with that, the flash flood warnings ongoing. All this rain on top of the rain that we've seen for the last several days with these rounds of showers and thunderstorms. You notice how slowly these are moving just on off to the east. That slow motion allowing them to drop a whole lot of rainfall on a small area and creating that flash flooding threat. That's a big weather story for the next few hours. That threat ongoing as these storms just slowly press across the area. Later this evening, the coverage of the showers and storms starts to wind down. That'll especially be the case heading into the overnight hours. 71 right now in Lexington, just 68 in Danville and Springfield, 72 degrees in London. Through the overnight hours, we'll drop down into the mid-60s. A little improvement, though, heading into Independence Day tomorrow. We'll check out that forecast and get you another check of the Max Track Live Doppler coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Ian.
A Powell County man is homeless after high water knocked his mobile home right off the foundation and sent it floating down a creek.
Kelsey Borza spoke with that man. What he had to say in tonight's LEX18 Big Story at 6. Lester Robinson says when he came home from work around 2 this morning, there was nothing but a sprinkle outside. An hour later, he was swimming to safety.
Looked out the window and there it was. It wasn't no, I just grabbed what I can grab to put on to get out. In a split second, I was out the door.
But he says if not for his dog waking him up as the water crept in, he would have been in deep trouble.
I thought he was just playing. He wasn't playing. He said it's time to go.
Within minutes, the trailer was floating down Brush Creek and eventually hit a bridge, tearing the home in half. The homeowner tells me if not for this little dog Feisty, he truly believes he would have been in that trailer last night floating down the creek.
I've been through stuff like this before and I'm still here. My home is gone, but I'm still here.
And this wasn't the only problem area. This old church building was swept off its foundation this morning on Beach Fork Road. And here's a look at what drivers on the Mountain Parkway faced at the Clay City exit. Covering the news in Powell County, Kelsey Borza, LEX18 News. The flash flooding also led to a high water rescue around 2:30 this afternoon along Adams Ridge Road in Powell County. The emergency management director says the driver tried to go through the water but got stuck. He climbed on top of his car and called for help. By the way, police arrested the man for driving on a suspended license.
Stay with us throughout the evening on this LEX18 Storm Tracker Weather Aware Day. You can track the rain and how it may affect your holiday weekend plans by looking at the Max Track Live Doppler radar anytime on our website or by downloading our free LEX18 Storm Tracker Weather app. In other news, it was a wild chase through 2 central Kentucky counties early this morning. Police, and lots of them, were after a stolen bucket truck.
Josh Breslow shows us how it all happened in the LEX18 Big Story Update.
40 miles through Fayette and Madison counties at speeds of 70 miles per hour. Police from several agencies were after this stolen bucket truck.
She was out of her mind. It was wild, man. I'm serious.
Outside of the BP along 8th and Boonesboro, just off the interstate, Scott Barnhill watched as he says the woman took the truck and the driver, Anthony Popham, tried to get her out.
She just took off, and he was like on the side of the truck, and she went like that and threw him to the ground.
Witnesses say Popham was kicked and dragged about 50 feet. While he was taken to UK hospital,
I did, man. I said, you are not going to get away.
Barnhill went after the woman.
I was sitting there flagging people down on the interstate to call the police.
The truck went south on I-75, turned around in Richmond, went back north and into Lexington, even driving the wrong way down Leestown Road. Popham's friend and coworker Ricky Todd watched the chase unfold.
It was surreal. It just felt like O.J. Simpson all over again. That's what it felt like, because the helicopter was following us too. We're watching it. I'm watching my truck.
Spike strips eventually destroyed the truck's tires, but the truck kept going, only on its rims, digging into the road for another 20 miles.
Next thing you know, here she come. No wheels on the back 2 tires, and he tried to throw the spike strips out, and she's running lights. And
Almost hitting people.
Yeah.
That chase came to an end around 10:30 this morning when the stolen truck slammed into a state police cruiser, and the accused, who did not want to talk to us, was taken into custody.
So what happened? I looked at her through a police window, and she laughed. So I guess she thought it was funny. Wasn't very funny to me.
Covering the news, Josh Breslow, LEX18 News.
That woman's name has not been released.
The extensive search for a man accused of assaulting a police officer during a traffic stop on I-64 is over. Just about an hour ago, police arrested Christopher Cobb in the High Acres neighborhood near Bryan Station. LEX18's Kristen Flum shows us what led to that arrest.
Drivers passing by on Interstate 64 just east of the split this morning were curious about the Lexington police who lined the highway, all eyes focused on the field. They were searching for the driver of this car who had been pulled over around 7 o'clock this morning.
Through his investigation of the stop, he determined he had arrestable charges for the operator.
But that man had no intention of sticking around. Instead of cooperating with the officer, the driver began to fight him, even at one point grabbing for the officer's belt.
I believe at some point during the confrontation, the suspect may have attempted to grab the officer's firearm.
The officer was checked out by paramedics while a canine unit and the police department's helicopter scoured the field on the other side of the tree line. About 3 hours later, the search was called off, police deciding to use the evidence left at the scene to figure out who the man is and where he may be headed next. They did try again about an hour later after someone thought they spotted him in the area of Hume Road, but police couldn't find him once they got there. Covering the news in Lexington, Kristen Flum, LEX18 News.
So far this year, state employees at one agency have racked up millions in overtime. The Department of Community-Based Services, or DCBS, employees are being forced to work overtime every day. They're the ones who determine eligibility for food stamps, Medicare, and child protection services. According to documents uncovered by LEX18 investigative reporter Richard Essex, the overtime costs are a reflection that the most vulnerable people are not being served.
Food stamp applications are not being processed in a timely manner. Staff shortages are affecting child protective services. And when we asked the commissioner of DCBS for an interview, our request was declined. LEX18 Investigates has found documents that suggest a lack of transparency.
The Department of Community-Based Services is one of the largest state agencies. DCBS runs the food stamp program, Medicaid, foster care, adoption, and child abuse programs. There are 9 regional offices throughout the state administering these programs. LEX18 Investigates asked for the overtime records for all the regions, and the numbers are staggering. $2,191,070.35 has been paid out so far this year. LEX18 Investigates has also asked to see internal email from the Commissioner's Office concerning overtime. How the department answered our request for all overtime costs is discussed in a series of staff email. The department elected to exclude comp time and accrued comp time cost. The Commissioner of DCBS, Teresa James, was not available to explain the overtime costs, nor was anyone from the department willing to go on camera. LEX18 Investigates was given a 3-paragraph statement which says, all staff overtime is approved by management. Overtime cost is justified to meet requirements, alleviate staff caseloads, and avoid costly penalties, and that the department is working to improve technology and streamline the application process. LEX18 Investigates has been told by a source in Frankfurt the federal government has warned DCBS to step up investigations of food stamp fraud. If the investigations are not done in a timely manner, the feds could demand millions of dollars repaid.
The staffing shortages is also taking a toll on Child Protective Services. According to documents uncovered by LEX18 Investigates, there are currently 300 children in state custody that have not been placed in foster care. This story is far from over. LEX18 Investigates will continue looking into staff shortages and how it affects all of us. Back to you.
The Dirt Bowl games in Lexington will be held in a different location in light of last month's deadly shooting. That decision was announced today by the city. Shots were fired during a June 21st Dirt Bowl basketball game at Douglas Park, hitting 5 people, killing 1. The city's Division of Parks and Recreation have moved the Dirt Bowl games to the Dunbar Center, but this is not a permanent move. They say they expect the Dirt Bowl to return to Douglas Park in the future.
This 4th of July holiday holds a special meaning for one Kentucky family.
They'll finally have closure in the death of a young sailor, presumed dead for decades.
71 years after a U.S. Navy sailor was presumed dead during World War II, his Marshall County family is finally getting the closure they've longed for.
No service was ever held in Jesse Raymond Wilson's honor, but that's about to change this 4th of July. LEX18's Claire Crouch has the story.
Gone but not forgotten.
Jesse Raymond Wilson was just 20 years old when he joined the crew of the USS Plunkett with big dreams for the future.
He said, "Guy, when I get out, I'm going to come home and get the biggest, the longest car." That was his dream, of getting out of the service and having a nice car.
But in 1944, his ship was hit by a German bomb, and a year later, he was presumed dead. Hundreds of men were killed that day, and therefore Wilson never got an individual burial ceremony. Now his family is making things right by holding a memorial service in his honor.
It's going to be very emotional. It's something that should have been done probably a long time ago, but nobody's ever really thought much about it, I guess.
Wilson's family will place a monument among other family members who have already passed, marking the final resting place of a war hero and a beloved uncle, brother, and son.
Took a long time in doing, but it is being done.
Covering the news in Marshall County, Claire Crouch, LEX18 News.
That ceremony will be held tomorrow afternoon at 2 Central Time at Fuchs Cemetery in Marshall County. The family invites anyone who'd like to honor him to come.
The Storm Tracker forecast is next.
Another weather-aware evening ongoing. It's been a rough week. We've been dealing with the severe weather each and every day. Today, the heavy rain threat that continues with an extensive coverage of showers and thunderstorms across the area. Scenes like this was just emailed into the LEX18 newsroom from Dimple Henderson down in Nicholasville, Jessamine County. The flash flooding ongoing there. You can't stress enough not to drive through these flooded roadways. You can't tell the condition of the road surface beneath it, and it doesn't take much moving water to start moving a vehicle in the direction you don't want it to be going. Very dangerous situation ongoing there, and in a lot of spots across the area with this rainfall. 1 to 2 to as much as 3 inches of rainfall in spots. This is just in the last 24 hours. Radar estimated a rainfall across the area, but then you factor in all the rain we've had over the course of this week with the strong and severe thunderstorms around. We get saturated grounds, heavy rain falling on top of it. With that, the flash flooding threat that continues this evening. We've got a flash flood warning for Fayette County, Anderson, Jessamine, Woodford County, parts of Bourbon and Mercer County too, and then further off to the south, Madison, Lincoln, Garrett, and Boyle counties, a flash flood warning that runs until 9:30. The entire area, central and eastern Kentucky, had a flash flood watch that runs until 8 o'clock this evening, but we're still tracking an extensive coverage of showers and thunderstorms across the area, across our northern tier here through portions of Harrison, Bath County, Rowan County, Nicholas County, starting to see some of those heavier rainfall rates, especially northern into Robertson County, Flemingsburg getting in some very heavy rainfall rates, and further off to the east, Powell County, back through Madison County, Rockcastle, Jackson County is getting some heavy rain, northern portion of Pulaski County, and extends further back to the west from there. So we're going to continue to track all these storms. They're extremely slow movers and efficient rainfall makers. With that, they're taking their time moving over the same areas and producing a whole lot of rainfall, generating that flash flooding threat. An area of low pressure sliding on by. Same old stalled out boundary that's been plaguing our weather all week. We've seen a series of disturbances, rounds of showers and thunderstorms riding along it. You'll notice, though, some improvement heading into Independence Day tomorrow. High pressure trying to nudge in from the north and west. That whole boundary sags a bit further off to the south, so it could be a day that improves as it goes on. High pressure trying to keep that front at bay the second half of the weekend. A southern southeastern section still seeing a pretty good chance, though, for some scattered showers, a couple thunderstorms during the second part of the day on Sunday. This is Micro Future Track through the latter portion of the evening. That coverage of showers and storms finally starting to wind down just a bit. First part of our July 4th tomorrow, some showers mainly along and south of I-64. I think the best coverage likely through the afternoon, the first part of the evening, right along and south of I-64. Northern spots getting more in the way of sunshine by around fireworks time, though, 10 o'clock. You notice that shower activity really starting to wane. We got some clearing taking place across at least the northern half of the area. With that, some improvement expected there. The Bluegrass 10K here in Lexington tomorrow, mostly cloudy, chance of showers. For the parade, partly sunny, still a shower or storm chance through the afternoon and evening, but by the fireworks, some clearing and just a minimal rain chance. Soggy right now in Danville, Boyle County, seeing the rain around. 71 in Lexington, 70 degrees in Mount Sterling, 68 in both Danville and Richmond. Tonight, scattered showers and storms, locally heavy rainfall through this evening. Temperatures overnight drop down into the mid-60s for tomorrow, eventually becoming partly sunny. That shower or storm chances lingering, though. High temperatures in the low 80s, a better chance to stay dry the second half of the weekend, warmer in the mid-80s, and you notice those temperatures climbing back up into the middle and upper 80s the first part of next week. So overall, our Independence Day holiday weekend, it's not stellar, but it's not the end of all things either. It's looking a little bit better than the last couple of days at least.
That's something, right?
Yeah.
It's a start. Thanks, Ian.
The UK Hoops team has another big home game coming up this season.
And Karl Anthony Towns was the #1 pick in the draft. Hear who the Timberwolves forward is most looking forward to facing on the court next in LEX18 Sports.
A week from today, Karl Anthony Towns will play his first Summer League game against the Lakers, the overall #1 pick already at work in Minnesota. Now, the Timberwolves selected Towns over Jahlil Okafor and believe he can immediately help turn things around for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 10 years. Towns is excited to be playing in the league, and he's looking forward to playing against the Spurs' Tim Duncan. He talked to the Timberwolves one-on-one about what he can bring to the team as soon as he steps on the floor.
I think maybe some versatility, be able to give Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine some space to be slashers and open up the floor for them, but also be able to change the look of the defense up and the offense up by being versatile. And I can't wait to just step in and just start playing. Just competing at the highest level possible. I mean, these are the greatest athletes, the greatest basketball players in the entire United States and also in the world. I just can't wait to have a chance to compete against the best and be known as part of the elite squad and the elite group that is the NBA.
The Summer League actually begins tomorrow in Orlando, and there are 2 games you'll want to watch or DVR if you're busy with 4th of July activities. At 3, Aaron Harrison plays his first game with the Hornets against Marcus Teague and the Thunder, and that's followed up at 5 with Andrew Harrison playing his game with the Grizzlies. Sunday at 3, the Harrison twins will play their first game against each other. EKU announced today that former guard Corey Walden has joined the Boston Celtics Summer League team. They'll play in the Utah Jazz Summer League starting Monday. Walden averaged 19 points and 3 steals for the Colonels last year. The Duke women's basketball team released its schedule today, and it included a game in Lexington on December 20th. It doesn't say if the Blue Devils and UK Hoops will play in Memorial or Rupp Arena. UK lost at Duke last December and at home in 2013. And tomorrow could be a big day for UK football. Paintsville linebacker Cash Daniel is ready to make his commitment. He'll choose between UK, U of L, and South Carolina. It sounds like he's all in with the University of Kentucky, but we'll find out for sure. Daniel is a 3-star linebacker. And NASCAR returns to NBC this weekend, the first time we've had racing here since 2006. That also means the return of former LEX18 anchor and reporter Krista Voda. She'd been an on-track announcer for Fox. Now she'll lead the pre- and post-race coverage for NBC with Dale Jarrett and Kyle Petty. Here's just a taste of what you'll see.
With the big Krista Voda alongside 2 guys who grew up in this infield and then raced its high banks, Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett. Give me one word what Daytona means to you.
Family vacation. I never had
2 words.
Well, I'm sorry, but I never had a vacation home here in Victory Lane, but this man did. He built a vacation home there.
Yeah, Victory Lane that we're not far from. What a great weekend to go to Victory Lane if you're one of these drivers looking to get into the chase.
She will keep those guys on point, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch right here on LEX18. We'll be right back.
Some areas pre-4th of July activities have already been canceled or plans changed a bit. Hopefully, most activities will go on as planned tomorrow.
It's looking that way. A much
Good.
better forecast for tomorrow as opposed to today. Some good news. The flash flood warning for Fayette and surrounding counties, that was actually just expired. We got another flash flood warning, though, just on off to our south. Heavy rain to the north, heavy rain to the south. We'll track it through this evening and get you another update coming up on Evening Edition.
Thanks, Ian.
And thanks for watching. Nightly News comes your way next.
Count on LEX18.com for the latest news, sports, and your Storm Tracker forecast.